On today's video, we're going to take a look at the Guyver 4K Blu-ray limited edition from Unearthed Films.
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to my review of the Guyver 4K limited edition Blu-ray from Unearthed Films. This is a set containing a 4K Blu-ray, a CD soundtrack, plus some other cool bonuses, and it is from Unearthed Films' Unearthed Classics imprint. This is a really stacked release. It's been hotly anticipated for years at this point, so it's really nice to see what it is. Before we get too far into the video, where I'll go over what the movie is, what's included with the release, if I recommend it or not, I ask you to please hit the like button so that this video gets out to more people, so more people can know about it, and please hit subscribe and the notification bell if you haven't already, because it helps the channel grow so we can continue doing cool videos like this. And then one last little plug, Hero Club recently did an interview with Bruno Patrick, who was in Guyver 2, The Dark Hero, which is not this movie, but its sequel, and I just wanted to spotlight that the interview is now live, and I'll leave a link in the description. You should check it out after you finish this review video, because it's a pretty good interview. Alright, so let's take a look at this release. So what is the Guyver? The Guyver is a manga and anime franchise originated in Japan that had two American-produced live-action films, this being the first one from 1991. This film is very much a B-movie in a lot of ways. I say that lovingly. The movie itself has some incredible creature and makeup and special effects work, but in terms of the story and the plot and the acting, it's not where the strong suits lie. The monster action is what you're looking for. There's a lot of actors in here from, there's a couple actors from the Reanimator films, and some actors that you may recognize from kind of the horror sci-fi realm of the late 80s and early 90s. And that makes it for kind of that vibe. It's kind of in that era. Now, the film itself has kind of a weird tone issue, or at least I think it's a tone issue, where it's pretty violent at times, and it has kind of these dark themes and elements that match the Guyver anime and manga, but it has some goofier, wackier, very campy moments that sort of clash with it in some ways. It seemed like they were kind of trying to go for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vibe, since that was a pretty recent independent film that blew up at the box office. They thought, let's make it campy and goofy like Turtles. But it sort of ends up clashing a little bit because I think, and what is talked about in one of the commentaries, the music has these really goofy, comedic, like Saturday morning cartoon style, like musical cues. Like the score's pretty good, but then there's these little musical cues to like emphasize some of the campier and goofier parts. And that's why I think the movie never really took off, because it kind of has this like sort of clash. Now, the interesting part about this film is after they completed it, it was edited in order to make its original PG-13 rating when it was released, but this version is the R-rated cut, the fabled R-rated version of the film. Now, that being said, having watched the movie, I've only seen this movie twice, I will say. I watched the original PG-13 version years ago, and then I watched this version. I went into like looking at some details about the R-rated version. It's a little bit of extra monster gore. It's mostly the same movie, which, you know, we'll talk about is a good thing. It's mostly the same movie. It's just a little bit gorier than the PG-13 version was. And it's all monster gore. It's not like anything crazy. There's not a ton of cursing. There's not like, you know, intense sex scenes or anything. It is pretty much R-rated for some extra gore. And now, it wasn't officially R-rated before. It does seem to be officially R-rated now. And it's kind of an interesting thing. It's like, it's very much like a hard PG-13, and the monster gore nowadays would probably get rated PG-13, if I'm being honest. But that is the basics of the movie. If you are a fan of the Guyver anime and manga, you probably will like the film. I think a lot of people do like the original source works. Personally speaking, I'm a bigger fan of Guyver 2 Dark Hero because it kind of ditched the camp and kind of kept it into the Dark Hero vibe and sort of kept with the dark sci-fi and drama elements, and also ramped up on the martial arts action, which I learned is because they had more prep time on Dark Hero than they did on the original film. And so I'm kind of hoping that maybe Unearthed Classics, now that they've done the original Guyver, can do Guyver 2 on a 4K Blu-ray, because I really, really like this movie a whole lot. But I did enjoy watching this again, especially in its new presentation. But let's talk about like the actual release itself. So we got this cover here, which I think is one of the original poster arts, which has the Guyver head. It has the Zoonoids down here, which those are the stars of the movie. The monster effects are the stars of the movie. You got part human, part alien, part pure superpower, Unearthed Classics, of course. This is the 4K limited edition. There also is a Blu-ray limited edition if you don't want the 4K and the CD soundtrack. I believe the Blu-ray is just the Blu-ray, but there is another edition out there. On the spine, you can see we got the Unearthed Classics, we got the Guyver, we got the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray and the Blu-ray disc, plus you have the little Guyver head there, plus 14, because I believe is the 14th release in Unearthed Classics. On the back, we've got a nice little description of the movie, like a little brief synopsis, and we got some nice images up here. Poor Vivian Wu's being traumatized by all these monsters around her, but you can kind of see the different zoonoids along the top. And then down here, of course, we have this very infamous promotional image. This is one of the biggest misconceptions about the movie, for those that haven't seen it, is that a lot of the American promotional material pointed out that Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, the Joker himself, was in this movie. He is in a supporting role. He is not the Guyver. There was posters where it photoshopped Mark Hamill's face onto the Guyver helmet like he was the Guyver, which he's not. He's in the movie, but he's not the Guyver. So it's kind of a weird little thing, and this promotional image kind of goes alongside that in a way. But then here we got 3-disc 4K UHD limited collector's edition contents. We of course have disc 1, which is the 4K Blu-ray. The 4K Blu-ray's only bonus features are the 2 commentary tracks, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then the Blu-ray itself also features the movie, plus the 2 commentary tracks, plus a bunch of bonus features, including new interviews, new outtakes, new found footage. There's a gag reel. There's also suit tests and stuff. We will talk about each feature in a little bit. And then the disc 3 is a CD of the soundtrack disc, plus there is a collector's booklet. Down here you can see all the legal text. The movie runs 93 minutes. It is produced by Unearthed Films, but it is the disc was manufactured by MVD Visual. So let's take a look on the inside cover here. I don't know if this is new art. I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But you got a picture of the final boss villain zoonoid of the movie, plus the Guyver. The back is the same. What's cool is that you can take this out, and on the inside, you have the Japanese-styled poster for the film, where it says, "I am Guyver" up top, and then you can see actually Sean's eye, not Mark Hamill, which we will show in a moment. But you can see it's got the Japanese text. This is the Japanese release poster for it, which I think is super duper cool. So you can have this artwork, or you can have the Japanese poster there. Now, of course, that infamous Mark Hamill photoshopped Guyver poster that ended up on all the DVDs and VHS releases is still included right here on the collector booklet. The booklet itself, there it is. That is the infamous, we photoshopped Mark Hamill into this. And learning from the commentary tracks, it was done with the actor who played Sean as the Guyver, but then they just photoshopped Mark Hamill in the marketing department, which the people that made the movie had no control over. And then this nice shot of the zoonoids down here. You get a couple little things inside this booklet. Nice creature close-up. You get a little thing written out by Dom O'Brien, author of Budget Biomorphs, The Making of the Guyver Films. He just has like a little thing about, you know, why he thinks the movie's great. And then there's Mutating Melodies, which is written by composer Matthew Morse, who was the composer for the Guyver music for the score of this film. And then a nice shot of the miniature Guyver writing on the stop-motion puppet for the final zoonoid battle. And then on the back here, it does have the track list for the soundtrack, which I very much appreciate, because if your computer doesn't like pick up the track titles, you can put them in yourself. Very nice to see. So really nice little bonus. Here is the 4K disc. It's got the cover art from the slipcase. The Blu-ray disc has that new artwork on it that's on the inner case. And then you got this really cool like line graph design for the CD with the soundtrack and all the track titles. But of course, you're probably wondering how many bonus features are on here, what's included, what do the menus look like, and how is the presentation? So of course, let's go take a look at that. So here's the menu for the 4K of the Guyver. We've got play, which will play the movie. We got our audio options, which include 2.0 stereo, 5.1 master audio, the commentary with the directors Steve Wang and Screaming Mad George, and then Evil Ted Smith and Wyatt Weed, who both worked on the film. I think the commentary with Steve Wang and Mad George is cool because it gives you some insight in the movies. But I found that the more entertaining commentary was the Evil Ted Smith and Wyatt Weed one, because they worked on kind of like the production side, being in the suits, working on the props and stuff. and I found that they had a lot of great insight into it, and I think also kind of some interesting like critiques of how the final film came together, and I think that that's kind of a really cool way to watch the movie is with their commentary. What's also cool is we do have subtitle options. You get English for hearing impaired, and then also just standard English for dialogue. And then you have your chapter markers, which go all the way from 1 through 14, so you can find your way throughout the movie. Now, of note, the release only has the R-rated cut. There is no theatrical cut also included, which is totally fine because the theatrical cut just has a few changed shots to remove some monster gore. It's not that big of a change, and there's no story differences. So the Blu-ray disc has the same artwork, but a little bit different options. Of course, play plays the movie. We do have setup, which is a whole separate screen. You got your 2.0, 5.1, plus your 2 commentary tracks, plus your subtitle options, and hit play film. The thing I do have a critique with is that it doesn't tell you what you're selected. So if I select this commentary, it just resets it to the top. It doesn't actually tell you that the commentary is selected. There's no like indicator, like what like lit up that tells you what it is. But when you play the film, well, the commentary, you just have to kind of remember what you just pushed. Minor thing. Back on the main menu, of course, we have chapters, same chapter markers, and then the extras menu. So on the extras screen, we got a lot of great things here. We've got a producer interview with Brian Usna, which is about 40 minutes. An interview with Screaming Mad George is about an hour, which is pretty solid. You have 2 different commentary tracks on the suit test footage with the 2 directors, and then, of course, with the other 2 guys that worked in production. So the 2 commentary tracks for the movie have these companion suit test commentary tracks. There's also outtakes, just other footage that was shot with a commentary at the 2 directors. Same with the gag reel being additional footage as well. You also get the alternate title sequence, which was on the original home video version, I believe. You get the English, German, and Spanish versions of it. I believe that's one with the Mutronics title that the movie also had in different regions. You also get a promotional gallery, which has posters, promotional things, just stuff related to the movie. That runs a good 7-8 minutes. The production gallery is behind-the-scenes production images and stuff, good like 10 minutes worth of stuff there. And then you get the trailer in English, German, Spanish, and French for the alternate title of Mutronics. I believe different regions released the film in different names. I believe it was known as Mutronics in some regions, whereas the Guyver is the more common name. So a pretty good stack of bonus features. You get a lot of great detail, a lot of great stories shared from people that worked on the movie, and a lot of great things like these alternate options of the film from other regions. So pretty cool, pretty stacked discs overall, and very good presentation. So this is a very solid release of this movie. It's pretty good. I mean, you have the original 4K scan from the 35mm print, so it looks the best I think it ever has. You have all kinds of cool bonus features. You can go super deep into the production of this film with the people they interviewed, which I think is great. I love seeing stuff like that for movies, because there's not as much remaining, like, you know, video of the behind the scenes. There is still some, but you get those stories shared by the people that worked on it, and I think that's super duper cool and just makes for an overall great release. Tossing in the soundtrack as well is super nice, because that's not something we usually see, and it was better, I think, than trying to sell the CD on its own, but still get a copy, like a high quality copy of that soundtrack put out. And I like that it's all bundled together in a very slim pack case. It's not going to take up too much shelf space. Now, this is a limited edition. Of course, there is the Blu-ray edition as well, but if you're wanting to decide, do I want this? If you've never seen the movie, and you like your sort of B-movie horror sci-fi, if you like your American Tokusatsu style films, this is probably going to appeal to you and will probably be a worthy addition. Though, of course, you can find the movie online to watch beforehand before deciding you want to plop down for the complete package here. But for me, as somebody that was sort of mixed on the movie the first time I saw it, but have a good appreciation for the production work on it, it was, I think, kind of a logical pickup for me to do. I was like, I want to get this, and I want to do a video on it. And having watched the movie again, sort of with, it mostly intact, and hearing the stories of how they made it, I appreciate the movie more, I think, than I did the first time I watched it, where I was like, well, the monsters were cool and everything else sucked. This actually gave me appreciation for things like the alley fight and some of the stories told in there. And so that, I think, makes for a terrific release. So I do highly recommend this if you are a fan of the film or think you will like the film based on what I've told you. But it is a kind of expensive release, so I would say, make sure you like it before you buy it. But I definitely think that if you're also like me and you want to see Guyver Dark Hero on 4K, this selling well will hopefully materialize this to happen. I don't know if Warner Brothers still has any ownership over this movie, but hopefully Unearthed Classics can release the Guyver Dark Hero, because I would love to see that, and it would make such a great pairing on the shelf with the two movies. So that does it for this video. If you liked it and you haven't already, please hit the like button, shares it out to more people, gets the word out about the Guyver 4K to our Guyver fans. You can also subscribe and the notification bell to keep up with future videos if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below with any questions, comments, concerns, corrections, any details I may have gotten wrong, that sort of thing. Really helpful in the comment section down below. I do tend to reply to comments, and I always will take more information that I don't already have. If you want to continue the conversation, you can join our Discord server in the link below. Come hang out, come talk about stuff. I know a lot of people in the Discord are very excited about this release, and that got me more excited about it as well, and that's always a fun time. We also have our live streams every Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern here on this YouTube channel, where we talk about news, Blu-rays, comics, toys, everything. Good times. Has a lot of great time every single week. You can also join as a channel member and get perks like early access to videos, member-exclusive live streams, and shout-outs in videos. And let's give a special shout-out to some of our channel members. Special shout-out to all our channel members, including our Captain Tiers, Spin-54, Super Shaddix Boom, Toma K, Master Ben 95, Suavecito 14, Muhammad Faiz Daniel, SSJ4 Jason, Scrub Lord Gaming, and Psycho O's. Thank you everybody for your continued support of this channel and their future endeavors. If you wish, you can also find me across most social media platforms at Soundout12. You can find my awesome graphic designer on social media and Discord at DarkClaw643. And you can find Hero Club at hero-club.com with that Bruno Patrick interview in particular for you Guyver fans out there. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.